Testing. Folks, we are here today to celebrate how proud we are to be Americans, how proud we are to be Georgians, and how proud we are to be Republicans. So let's give a hand to America, to Georgia, and to the Republican Party. There will be plenty of time for campaigning over the course of the next year. And I want to simply say thank you for being here today. It is an honor to be a sponsor for this event, and we look forward to seeing everybody during the course of the campaign. Bob Barr for Congress. Thank you all very much.
Fellow Republicans, as you look at who you're going to send to the U.S. Senate, I ask you to think about one thing. We're going to elect a U.S. Senator that is a Republican. We are going to elect the most conservative U.S. Senator. And what I've been doing in 6 years as the congressman from the 10th Congressional District is I've been fighting for liberty. We've got to know out-of-control government. A government that's taxing too much, is spending too much, is too intrusive into your life. And both parties are guilty. It must stop, and it's going to stop when you send a Marine and one who believes in liberty to the U.S. Senate. Please vote for Paul Brown for U.S. Senate so we can have liberty back in America again and put this country back on the constitutional course that our founding fathers given. It's all about liberty. It's about your children and your grandchildren. Vote Paul Brown for the U.S. Senate. Thank you. And God bless you.
Phyllis Collins. I'm one of Congressman Phil Gingrich's sports children. And this is Ruby Collins. She's my daughter, one of Congressman Gingrich's 13 grandchildren. And we're delighted to be here this afternoon to celebrate with you all. I'm happy to say that my mother and father celebrated 43 years being happily married this past week, and we're all very proud of that. We're sorry they couldn't be here today. They're at another event in the district, but they send their best, and we ask you all to please vote for Bill Gingrich. Thank you.
I'm Jack Kingston. Another bad night. It's good. I think you can hear me okay. It's great to be with y'all today. I just want to say, as a lifelong Republican, there's two issues that we have to own. One is a strong national defense. I'm a member of the Defense Committee, and I can tell you that we in our country right now are being threatened. We're being threatened not just in Iraq and Afghanistan and by Iran or some of the other rogue nations that are out there, but we are being threatened economically by countries like China. We are being attacked on the streets of Boston and at Fort Hood, Texas. You and I have to make sure that the American military never has to fight a fair fight. We have to be sure that our servicemen and women are always the best trained, the best equipped, and always ready to fight any enemy, any place, anytime, and win and come home safely, because that's what keeps our freedom alive. The second issue we have to keep is the jobs issue. As a member of Congress, I have had a 100% National Federation of Independent Business rating, because I come from the private sector. And I strongly believe that the jobs in this country are not created by Washington, D.C., but by the private sector, and that your tax dollars are hard-earned, and when they go to Washington, D.C., we have to make sure that we take care of it, we keep spending down, and that we have common sense legislation that minimizes government interference in your life. Thank you very much for being here today. Thank you for allowing us candidates to to be here today. This is my third time in Bartow County. I look forward to coming again and again, as well as to Cherokee County. Take care. May God bless America.
Hi everyone, I'm Alan Lee, running for the 11th District Congressional Seat. I'd like to thank you all for attending. I'm very pleased to be able to host this. I believe that our country, as you know, is in a mess. My website, alanlevineforcongress.com, is the only website for a candidate that actually has solutions to our problems. For example, I think that we should cancel federal congressional pensions if the incumbents stay in office too long. Term limit amendments will never pass. So I suggest, I would propose legislation that if a representative runs a state or is in office for more than 8 years, or a senator for 12 years, 2 terms and 4 terms consecutively, then they lose their pensions if they don't quit. We need new people in Congress, not the same people over and over and over again. I think that the United States needs to become a tax haven now, end corporate taxes for businesses. If we do that, foreign companies will flock here, bring trillions of dollars into this country and provide endless jobs. Domestic corporations which will not bring their money back into the United States because they'll be taxed, will flood the money with about $1 trillion in overseas assets. These will create jobs. I'd like to force states to provide loan modifications instead of refinances. Interest rates are extremely low. A lot of people want to do a low refinance. The problem is, they have to pay $3,500 in fees, which gets tacked on the mortgage. And they have to prove that they're credible all the time, making payments, which by definition means they actually credible. Loan modifications cost nothing, and they're used for corporate business profits. Just making that change will save huge amounts of money for I'd like to create a pathway to jobs for Social Security and disability recipients. Otherwise, with the SSDI, one of the hidden areas that will have bankrupt this country. In 7 years, the equivalent of every person in 10 states will be collecting Social Security disability insurance. Once they're given, they never get off of it. It's going to be a natural disaster. Just 7 years. We also need to solve the high cost of the higher education problem. We have $1 trillion of student loans due. It's really simple to solve that problem. And the solution is by capping federal loans at $35,000. Colleges will no longer increase their tuition fees because the students will get unlimited loans. By capping the loans at $35,000, colleges will start to reduce costs for a degree under $25,000. So, once again, thank you very much for coming to this event. I urge you to go to my website, alanlevineforcongress.com, where I actually will demonstrate positions, things that need to be done. Once again, thank you.
How are y'all doing? You know, the first time I ran for office, I ran for the state house, and in 3 months I lost 30 pounds. The way the heat is now, see, this is going to be a year-long race. I may not be here next June or July. I do want to sort of talk to y'all about a couple things real quick. The first is I was very privileged this month to receive 3 things. First off was recognition by the Georgia Chamber as the Legislator of the Year for Economic Development. I was proud of that. The second one was we recognized as a small enlisted chairman, leader in Georgia of the NFFB, which is the biggest organization taking care of small business. I was pleased with that. But let me show you what I was most proud of, and that's this coin. This is a challenge coin that was given to me yesterday by a group of veteran lawyers. And then what they did was they challenged me not only for what I've been able to do for veterans in Georgia over the last 10 years, but to always remember that as your congressman, my number one goal, my number one purpose is to stand behind those young men and women who are standing up for you and I all over this world. Because they are what makes our freedom possible. You've heard a lot of loose talk about who's a patriot, who's a hero. But I think there's one group that we can all agree on, who's a patriot, who's a hero, and those are our armed forces. And folks, I'm going to carry this coin to Washington, and I'm never going to forget what my number one purpose is, which is to stand behind it. Now, the second thing I want to talk to you about, real briefly, doesn't have anything to do with what I'm going to do in a year and a half when I get elected. It has to do with what you need to do right now. Let me ask you something. I need some hands right now. How many of y'all oppose amnesty and a pathway to citizenship for those who crossed our borders illegally? I'd like to see a show of hands. That's a good number of people. Folks, there's an important vote next week in the U.S. Senate. We need to stand up and let our elected U.S. senators know that we don't believe in amnesty. Amnesty is wrong for 3 reasons. Number one, it's contrary to the rule of law. Number two, it's unfair to folks who came here legally. And number three, it doesn't work. It didn't work in '86, it's not going to work now. Now, I sent my letter to my senator saying no. I want to know, and I need another show of hands right now, how many of you are going to contact your U.S. senator in the next few days and tell them you want to know them? Let me see the hands right now. Come on. Let me see the hands. We put them in office. We expect them to listen to us. And we want them to vote no. And folks, I'm never going to forget the number one people that I'm supposed to be protecting, and I'm not going to forget the folks who put me there. Thank you very much. My name is Edward Lindsay. I'm running for Congress for 3 reasons. I have the strength to fight. I have the wisdom to know the difference between negotiating and compromising, and I have the courage to stay the course. Thank you very much. God bless you. God bless America.
Thank you all for being in beautiful Bartow County and right on the edge of Cherokee County. It's a beautiful area of the state. I'm so glad to have everybody here. I'm more excited that this many people are interested in taking back our nation from those that have taken it from us. That's the entire reason I'm running for Congress. Now, go ahead, let's take the nation back. If we're going to take back the nation, it's going to take all of us working together. And consider this. 237 years ago today, the men in the Second Continental Congress were just arriving back in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And they were about to do something that literally would put their lives in jeopardy. They were going to sign a document that was basically declaring war on the mightiest army on the face of the earth. Not just a more powerful army, but the mightiest army on the face of the earth. These men were putting their very lives on the line for something that they knew that they may never see come to fruition. When they passed the Declaration of Independence, the last line, they summarized exactly why they believed they could accomplish what they were trying to do. And that last line says that in support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. If we're going to take back this nation, it's going to take all of us having that same dedication, that same fortitude to stand up and say our elected officials have taken an oath to God to uphold the Constitution. It is not to be interpreted in the light of the day, but it is to be interpreted the way that our founding fathers intended it to be. The Constitution is a limit on the power of government, and George Washington told us to be fearful of the government, that it was a fearful master. If you consider what's happening in Washington today, every day you turn on the radio, there's something new happening. When I was in the military, I served in the United States Air Force. I worked intelligence. I did to the enemy, the Soviet Union, what our government is doing to us today. The question isn't about whether a whistleblower is a criminal or is a hero, but it's about the government making the people of the United States its new enemy. These are the things that have to be corrected. We can't take back this nation under one condition. If you consider in 1776, those men, those young men, old men, who when the call of duty came, they voluntarily picked up their rifles, they picked up their personal belongings, and they left their families to go join Washington, Marion, Greene, those generals that were fighting for a cause. Understand this, and this is coming from a veteran of the military myself. When these guys marched off, they did not join the military for the GI Bill. They didn't go fight for the commissary privileges or health care. They didn't go fight for tuition assistance to go to college because none of those existed. We didn't even have a national treasury. These guys were going to fight for liberty. We have to take up the same mantle today and say we're going to fight for liberty. And it's not about us, it's about the future generation. I can tell you the only reason I want to go to Congress is because my 3 children and my future grandchildren deserve better than what we're passing on to them. All I'm asking is send me to be that new patriot, to go to Washington, fight for those same values of life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. God bless.
Thank you all so much. It is an honor to be with you all today. My name is Tricia Bridemore, and I'm running for Congress here in Georgia's 11th Congressional District. It is a great district. It is the 29th most conservative district in the United States, and it is about time that we took a fighter to D.C. to make sure that our strong conservative values make it to the forefront of our national conversation. But first and foremost, I recognize that everyone in this district, they want to go back to work. They want a candidate that is friendly to business and friendly to those who are looking to get back into their workforce. I have created jobs both from the private sector and from the public sector. And I will make sure that I take that same hard work, earnest dedication, all the way back to D.C. See, as Americans, we are persecuted but not abandoned, struck down but not destroyed. We have a hope that extends long beyond each and every one of us. And it's about time that true hope comes back to America. My name is Tricia Bridemore. Check us out online, Bridemore for Congress. We're also on Facebook. Thank you so much.
How about that? Hey folks, my name is Scott Turner. I'm a State House Representative for District 21 in Cherokee County. I am not running for a higher office, so you don't have to worry about me asking for your vote this year. I'll ask for that next year. So I thought I just wanted to show up, make sure everybody gets a hot dog and a hamburger, and I'll take this time to maybe tell a joke, if that's okay. So I know some of you guys have heard this before, so I see a lot of fresh faces. Please don't ruin it for everybody. You know, I get asked a lot of questions when I'm on the campaign trail. And, you know, one of the questions I get asked the most is, do you really spell your name with just one T? Yes. My name is spelled S-C-O-T, just one T in my name. And the next question is, well, why is that? And, you know, what happened was back in the day when I was born, it was very laborious, hard labor for my mother. She had 22 hours of painful, screaming, sweating labor. And I was born without the benefit of pain medication for my mother. After those 22 hours, I came out, I was 9 pounds, 14 ounces. And so that's fairly large for a boy. And after that, my mother was only capable of speaking in 4-letter words.